Did you know that the average person forgets about 40% of what they read within the first 24 hours? And after a week, that number jumps to 80%. Shocking, right? We're constantly bombarded with information, but our brains just can't keep up. We're reading more than ever, yet remembering less. What if you could change that? What if there was a simple way to remember everything you read, without spending extra time or effort? In this article, I'm going to show you how to turn your reading into a memory powerhouse. We'll dive into smart, minimalist strategies that will help you retain more, read less, and boost your memory in ways you've never thought possible. Stick with me, and let's unlock the secret to remembering everything you read. Chapter 1. The Art of Reading Less, Remembering More. When it comes to reading, less really is more. Research shows that the average person can only absorb and retain a small percentage of what they read. According to a study by the University of California, our brains retain about 20% of what we read, 50% of what we see, and an astounding 90% of what we do. This tells us that we don't need to read everything, we need to read smart. Focus on quality over quantity. Choose books or articles that align with your goals and interests. Skim through content first, and only dive deeper when something truly resonates with you. A minimalist approach to reading allows you to focus your energy on what matters most, making it easier for your brain to store that information. Chapter 2. The Power of Slow Reading. Most of us rush through books, aiming to finish as quickly as possible. But the truth is, the slower you read, the more you retain. In fact, studies show that the slower you go, the better your long-term retention. Slow reading isn't just about reading every word, it's about allowing your brain time to process and connect ideas. Take pauses after each paragraph, reflect on the main idea, and ask yourself, how does this relate to what I already know? This reflection time helps transfer information into long-term memory. The famous philosopher Francis Bacon once said, "Reading maketh a full man." But it's the thoughtful, slow reading that makes a memorable man. Chapter 3. Minimalist note-taking. Note-taking doesn't have to be complex. In fact, simplicity is key. Instead of scribbling endless notes, focus on capturing just 3 key ideas from each chapter or article you read. These can be powerful phrases, key concepts, or simple sketches. Why 3? Well, the brain loves patterns, and limiting yourself to 3 items helps your mind organize and retain the information better. Research by the University of Washington found that students who took notes by hand retained information better than those who typed. So grab a pen, write down the essentials, and keep your notes minimalistic but meaningful. If you're finding these strategies helpful so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss the upcoming tips that will completely change the way you read and remember. Chapter 4. The Read, Reflect, Apply method. This is one of the most effective ways to remember what you read. It's a simple 3-step process: read, reflect, apply. First, read actively, focusing on understanding the main ideas. Then, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned. How does it connect to your life, goals, or existing knowledge? Finally, apply what you've learned in some way. This could be through teaching someone else, writing about it, or simply using the new knowledge in a real-world scenario. The application part is crucial. In a study by the National Training Laboratories, it was found that teaching others leads to 90% retention. When you actively engage with the material, your brain creates stronger memory connections. Chapter 5. Chunking your way to memory mastery. Chunking is a memory technique that breaks down complex information into smaller, manageable parts. This strategy works because our brains can only hold a limited amount of information at once, about 7 pieces of data. By grouping information into chunks, we make it easier for our minds to store and recall. For example, when reading a long passage, break it down into sections. Focus on understanding one chunk before moving to the next. This technique is used by memory champions around the world. The famous memory expert, Tony Buzan, suggests that chunking not only boosts recall but helps make sense of information that initially seems overwhelming. Chapter 6. Creating space for memory to grow. Our modern world is full of distractions, and they can seriously impact our ability to remember things. Research shows that multitasking actually reduces productivity and memory retention. The more mental clutter you have, the harder it becomes to remember. Minimalism isn't just about decluttering your physical space, it's about creating mental space too. This means simplifying your environment, reducing distractions, and carving out time for rest. When you make space in your day for quiet reflection or relaxation, your brain can process and store memories more efficiently. A study published in Neuropsychology found that mindfulness exercises improved memory retention and focus. When you clear the mental clutter, your memory thrives. And remember, if you're loving these tips, be sure to subscribe for more actionable strategies to improve your memory and reading habits. In conclusion, remembering everything you read doesn't require a huge time investment or frantic note-taking. By embracing a minimalist approach to reading and memory, you can maximize your retention and turn your reading sessions into powerful learning experiences. Focus on quality reading, slow down to reflect, take minimal notes, and apply what you've learned. By breaking down information into manageable chunks and creating space for memory to grow, you'll notice a remarkable improvement in your ability to remember what you read. Try these strategies out, and soon, you'll be able to remember everything you read, without the overwhelm.